Tell me it gets better. Say that it gets better. O.P.S. I'm gay-ish.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast known for its aggressive, if not controversial, stance on talking. We support it. We like it.
That's controversial?
Yeah.
Well, for some people it is. Shut the fuck up.
Everyone but us, listen, and we're going to talk now. That's our position.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we are here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today,
we are going to talk about what you, the listeners, or at least the ones in our Facebook group, voted on, which is superheroes.
Superheroes.
So thank you for all the ideas. Sorry to Dan Garlington that we are not talking about spilling wine on yourself, although I could do that episode in my sleep and it would last 5 hours because I have a lot to say about that.
You're very good at it. Just so we're clear.
I mean, okay, my boyfriend Jack,
who is your boyfriend?
He was like, "Oh, were you drinking wine today?" And I was like, "No." And then he pointed to a spill on my shirt, and I was like, "That's just been there."
Yeah,
it's gotten worse. Okay, but not anyway. We can not talk about that.
He also said you were clumsy. You seemed incredulous about that.
I cannot be confined to operating in the standard arenas in which human beings need to operate. My limbs are birds that like to fly free, as if uninhibited by the bounds of my body. And you can take that to the bank. Stop looking at me and talk. Remember, we support talking. You have to be part of that.
Oh, God. Okay. But first.
Oh, wait.
What?
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Because we now have a Patreon page.
We do have a Patreon page.
It is surprisingly...
People are giving us money.
Yeah.
It's weird.
we support it.
Yeah.
We wanted to. It is not surprisingly patreon.com/ I was about to say /group/gay. No, that's Facebook. Patreon.com/gayish podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to call out a couple people because that's one of the benefits. So thank you to Kian Hazen and Jerome York.
Do you know how to say, are you sure it's Kian?
You know, I looked up pronunciations online so that I could, it said that Cian was pronounced Kian. So
did we ask if we could say their names?
I mean, that's part of the benefits. So I think if they gave money and we were saying like, we'll say your name on the air, I feel like that's part of the agreement.
All right. Thanks, Kian and Dave.
We're still barely working out a few of the kinks on
Kevin,
Kian
and
Jerome. Yes. Those aren't the only ones that...
Thank you for your money.
We're going to have to get better at, like, saying things.
Expressing gratitude is not my strong suit.
For giving us things. Please keep doing it and tell more people to do it. And we had other people that supported it, but they don't get their fucking names said.
Yeah.
Because that's all the levels. Just like what's that guy's name?
Just like society. Just takes money
just
to
like
make money.
Mario. Levels. Da 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 da. With that sound, we've got news.
Great. News?
Yeah.
News.
Okay,
so recently a very terrible person was elected president of Brazil.
You're going to say America. Very recent. It's still in recent memory.
It is.
So, okay.
It
Brazil.
is.
Yes.
Although it feels like he was elected 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is the longest presidency in terms of subjective passage of time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep. 100%. Okay, but tell us about other horrible things.
Jair Bolsonaro.
You did not look that up beforehand like I did with Kian, and I hope that's his name, because I'm going to keep saying that.
I mean, I assume it's Jair. It's Brazil, so it's Portuguese, so I assume a J is a H sound. It's Jair. Jair, right?
I know Spanish, which I don't think that all the pronunciation rules carry over. Spanish is great because letters are just what they sound like, and there's one sound, except sometimes you. This is the pronunciation podcast. Brought to you by Meek and Kelly.
But doesn't sometimes a D make a duh and sometimes it makes a the sound?
Oh, that's like the diet. Like that's, Argentinian versus Spain versus Mexico.
You're a dialect. Anyway, so this Bolsonaro cat was elected president before he takes office, which he's widely known to be a right-wing whack job crazy ass.
Yeah, the world is doing pretty good at electing nationalist wackos.
Yep. For instance, he said once, quote, "Yes, I'm homophobic and very proud of it."
Well, at least sometimes we have, like, even Pence will, like, pretend he's cool with it.
Right. Or at the very least, just shut up.
Yeah. Or, like, email Adam Rippon or whatever.
Anyway, there was a mass same-sex wedding in Brazil specifically scheduled for now before this dude becomes president. So 38 same-sex couples, 76 people got married in Sao Paulo a couple of days ago.
Nice.
Saturday. Although we're in the future now, we should be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Like, this is being recorded well before it airs.
Yeah. So, like, it was a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mass wedding.
congratulations. Whatever Portuguese for good fucking job, kids. Whatever that is.
Bueno trabajo de fucking.
Yeah. That's Spanish.
It's close, I know.
They'll probably understand you, though, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's adorable. The pictures are adorable. They are just, like, sweet and happy and, like, they don't know that their lives are going to change to awful as soon as this dude takes office.
Yeah, my favorite weddings are weddings born of terror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next. Okay. Do you know who Cory Booker is?
No.
Cory Booker is...
Oh, is he that guy that, like, released those classified documents in the Senate thing, and then...
He did do that.
Okay, yes, I know one thing about him.
Okay.
He released classified documents from the Senate, which, like, ended up that, they had already approved him to release that, so he kind of made, like, a big political show out of it, which is kind of annoying. But anyway.
Well, that is not helping the rumors that he is gay.
Wait... Because he made a big show of it, everyone's like, "Oh,
you drama
queen."
Yeah, no, I mean, this actually has nothing to do with what you're saying, but like, I think it maybe lends credence to the idea that he's a drama queen, and therefore gay. He's single. He is the junior senator from New Jersey and is single, and his entire political career has had to fight off this very strong bias against people who are single.
I mean, you picture. All the presidents have their first lady. Whenever you think of, I mean, stereotypically men, like, standing in front giving a speech, like, his wife is there, like, clapping behind on the side of the stage. And...
So we have elected single men president before. The most recent one was 1884, Grover Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So it's been a long time. It's not unprecedented, but it...
Unprecedented.
But, like, you would think that it's the worst thing in the world to be single.
Yeah, you have to be Christian and
married
to an opposite sex partner,
and probably have kids.
Yeah,
to show that you're normal. I don't know,
getting your fuck on.
Yeah,
we like that, but you can't talk about it.
Right? Yeah. Well, so he had an interview with the Philadelphia Inquirer. They were talking about his possible 2020 presidential run and asked him about the rumors that he's gay. And he said, quote, "I am heterosexual, period." He didn't say the period. The period is at the end of the sentence. Period. Yeah. But they've used that against him before, like when he ran for mayor in Newark, New Jersey. He actually lost the first time that he ran, and part of it was a smear campaign. He also has been less definitive about it before. Like one time... he said to the Washington Post in 2013, he likes it when people think he's gay. Quote, "People who think I'm gay, some part of me thinks it's wonderful because I want to challenge people on their homophobia. I love seeing on Twitter when someone says I'm gay and I say, quote, so what? It doesn't matter if I am. So be it. I hope you're not voting for me because you're making the presumption that I'm straight."
Which, like...
So he's clearly gay, right?
No, I mean, I read that as like a listened to, I didn't read that, listened to that as like a very supportive, just, why the fuck does it matter? Okay, let's pretend I am. Does that change anything?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do better at just like not guessing anyone, celebrities, just if whatever they say their gender, orientation, pronouns, all that shit is, I'm going by that.
Yep.
So it's way less fun though. Guessing.
But
It's so fun.
yeah.
Do it in the privacy of your home.
Or on the podcast.
Or the privacy of this podcast.
Yeah. God. The fact that we live in a world where that disqualifies you from being in office is just it.
Yeah. Like just the single part is enough to start rumors as if there aren't single people all the fuck over.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. You can move on.
Okay.
That's what I felt like you were leading to. But then you felt
Moving on.
like you had to acknowledge the last thing that I said.
I mean, I don't have to.
You don't have to. But you know I'm going to edit a response in one way or another. Okay, good.
Have we recorded enough that you could just make a whole episode out of shit that we've said before?
Probably, but would I care enough to go back through and put those all together? No.
Okay.
It's too much time. Sometimes I do think like, shit, this doesn't make sense, or something happened during this, so I need to find a clip of you saying no or yes or whatever, and then I'm like, I'll just do the one where my dog was throwing up during it. It's fine. Whatever.
I mean, it probably sounds more authentic that way.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So on Saturday, a boxer named Patricio Manuel.
Last Saturday now.
Oh God, fucking, we're in the future again. I forgot.
The concept of podcasts seemed to really confuse you for a podcast host. Hello.
This is the future.
This is the future when we're listening to this, and we recorded not in the time that you're listening, and also things are still terrible.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. I wasn't going to push that button until you started being lippy. Like,
is that a threat?
yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
I have buttons to push. Like this one. Hey, everybody, I just muted Kyle's microphone. So now...
If I yell loudly, can you hear that I'm still here?
He can't be heard, and it makes me happy. Okay, you're back.
Okay, temporarily regaining my talking privileges.
Okay, super featherweight Mexican boxer Hugo Aguiar lost on Saturday to Patricio Manuel, which is important if only because Patricio is transgender. A transgender boxer is the first transgender male boxer in U.S. history to fight professionally.
Ooh. And won?
And won.
Won professional boxing?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Just no.
No.
The first professional bout.
Oh, okay.
A trans male boxer has never boxed in U.S. professional boxing before. That happened on Saturday.
Okay.
And then he won.
Okay. Just a one time. Okay. Not as exciting as I thought, but still exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that boxing has just as much as any other professional sport this huge homophobia built into it. Like, it is not an LGBTQ friendly universe. Professional sports aren't, and boxing is the most machismo exclusionary sport you could imagine. And so for there to be a trans dude to not only get to the level of their career that they could box, but then to be successful at it, I think it's pretty badass.
Yeah. You know how homophobic they are because usually large crowds of like screaming men turns me on. Mm-hmm. But if I see them in boxing, it scares me. I think they'd beat me up and not do the better things to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What?
There are lots of ideas that trans women competing in female leagues is unfair, which I've been reading some things that have like said kind of the opposite, that's not necessarily true. I need to do more reading on that. But to go the other way, to have a trans man prove that he can win in a male sport, I think is really cool to help start to show that some of the gender lines are not rigorous as we think.
Yeah, I mean, the fear is if you are, I don't want to say biologically,
if you have a ding dong.
No, well, okay. So testosterone makes you stronger. It makes you faster. Right. It makes you stronger. That's a fact that we can't change, and that's not transphobic to say. that's just how biology
Yeah.
works,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So the concern with trans women is, okay, even if you get over all of the issues that trans people have to face about, like, are you really a woman or not, and is that okay in society or not, blah, 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 there's still this fact that you at least were until your transition hormonally male and getting the benefits of testosterone, which we drug test cis women for testosterone and then kick them out of whatever the sport is if they're taking it. So
unless there's a medical reason, like I think
right.
some people have medical reasons they need to take and some of those. So the thing I read was the article is literally called "Send This to People Who Think That Trans Women Shouldn't Be Able to Compete." And it goes through, it's kind of funny. It goes through, like, once you start getting, I don't know what you start getting to transition to female. Estrogen. Like, you get, like, your testosterone levels end up in a similar range.
Yes.
As cis women. And then it goes through these things of, like, here are these trans women that have competed in sports, and, like, it was like before when they were competing in the men's league, they, fell about average. When they transitioned, they were still about average now for the women.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why, like, one article, like, I need to keep reading, and I think we probably maybe don't know as much as we should, but I'm just going to put it out there. It may not just be our ideas of just, oh, you once had testosterone and...
Well, I just had a thought that I just now recognized my own transphobia in what I was saying. My argument is not that different. Or what I'm questioning isn't that different from the Christian conservative bullshit position that dude wanted to put on a dress so that he could go to the bathroom with my daughter. Right? Like, the idea is it just happened. That's really a man. There's a whole bunch of... I'm this animated.
Throwing your mic around.
That's built into what I'm saying. That, like, if your transition has started, I do know. I'm drunk.
No, you're. So I think this is where things like asking questions, I think, is important, because it would be understandable that would be someone's initial just thought, but then we have to look to science to say, like, is that true or not? Yeah. And then and use that. So, this is something we should, we should keep researching, and then, like, maybe follow up with like multiple articles that can talk about this, or scientific studies. So I'm just saying, remain open to the science, but I think you're at the point where you're not doing out of like some belief that this is, like,
God made them male and female, Kyle.
Exactly.
Don't fuck with God's plan.
It's Adam and Eve, and we know about their genitals distinctly. That was in Genitalius. I'm trying to make a pun on Genesis with genitals.
Fallopians 3:14.
Sure. Yeah.
I think I'm done. Okay. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff about, like, it was hard to find somebody that would be willing to fight him because of transphobia. Like, a lot of people said, no, I won't fight him because he's trans, and I don't want to lose to a girl, was sort of the underlying message there. And then the person that he ended up fighting, Aguiar, said that he learned of Manuel's transition only 2 days before the fight, but that it was okay. It wasn't a problem for him. Quote, "For me, it's very respectable. It doesn't change anything for me in the ring. He wants to win, and I want to win too."
Huh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always thought growing up, like, hearing never hit a woman or never hit a girl.
Right.
I was like, well, I don't really want to be hit either. This is that assumption that boys are going to just be boys and they're going to wrestle and hit each other, and girls are delicate and, like, so I remember, obviously, female or presenting female in our society has a whole, I'm very privileged to be male, but there's some of these things that I was like, I don't like getting hit and I don't want to fight anyone. Yeah. I'm very sensitive and emotional. I don't like that. Do we want to talk about superheroes?
Superheroes. Okay, I'm nervous about this one.
What? You're nervous about every fucking thing nowadays.
I know, it's kind of become my thing.
I wish I could mute you, but I'm too far away from the soundboard.
Kyle.
Ha! I now have the only say, "Ooh, I'm getting nervous. I don't like it. Turn it back on. Change it back. Change it back."
I mean, I could turn my mic on and still not talk.
Yeah, it's true. Which you've done when you've gotten high and just sat quietly and nodded.
Okay. I know nothing about superheroes or comic books. Like, I've seen some movies.
Oh.
My ex-husband was way into them.
Why do I think you're so nerdy then? What?
So, like, nerddom, like, your nerd card is more like bingo. Like, you just have to have enough of the spaces covered to be a nerd. So, I've got the computer game thing down, board games down, Star Trek, fantasy, Lord of the Rings,
D&D,
Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I've got more than enough dork points to have my nerd card firmly in hand.
Okay.
Just comics is not one of them.
This is your this is interesting because there could be a whole other podcast called Nerdish. Because, like, just because you know all about this doesn't mean you know everything about comics and superheroes.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what if every subculture has their own stereotype that they don't hold up to, and this is more applicable to just gay people?
What if, Kyle?
Nah, that's stupid. Sorry, I take that back. That's silly. Okay, so, I should also add that our Patreons, once you contribute a certain level, are going to get a bonus segment.
Bonus.
Bone us.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't even... Bonobos.
You've not heard of that before?
No. If you haven't heard it, this is why all my jokes are funny, because just...
There was an old joke a long
before.
time ago about, like, grab your ankles and say bonus.
It's you don't have to know the rest of it. That's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it reminds me of this other old joke that there's only a punchline.
Oh.
Wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
Yeah, you've said that enough to me that I think I'm wearing thin on the... I don't know that I think that's funny.
It's goddamn funny.
It's like that's what she said. Like, at a certain point, there's just...
Shut up, Kyle.
Okay. This has been fun. So if you want to hear us yell at each other for a little bit longer, then check out the Patreon levels and you get to hear what no one else hears.
Yeah, when we take a break, we'll keep talking like we usually talk during the breaks.
We do. During our breaks, we're just silent. We just stare at each other until we're back on.
But you'll get to hear that, and then you'll get to hear during our breaks, we're going to talk about some other segment
thing
to the topic. So
yeah. Okay, superheroes.
Superheroes.
I thought there was more to that song.
What does a superhero mean? What is a superhero, Kyle?
Oh,
our listeners picked it. Maybe we should have asked them.
Oh, I mean, it's comic like Superman and stuff. It's comic book characters that have capes and do stuff that other people can't do.
How about Tony Stark and Batman, who don't have any magic powers or mutant powers? They're just really good at technology and have a lot of money. Are they still superheroes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a very inclusive word. Anyone who really in their heart believes that they fit in that category.
Oh, Kyle, you're my superhero.
Okay, well, I don't count. I thought of doing something dumb like, let's do a segment about we're all superheroes deep down. And then I was like, that's stupid. I'm going to talk about comic books.
I want to take this opportunity when we're talking about superheroes to tell everyone about my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Like my personal superhero and not necessarily what you all thought you were getting into.
Barf.
Okay, can I tell you about a couple other things that I thought were cool on the poll?
Yeah.
That didn't make it were polygamy was the second.
Polyamory.
Polyamory. And then another one that was not even close, but I voted for, was 2019 resolutions.
Oh, New Year's
resolutions. Yeah. So I might talk about that anyway. But, okay.
Well, I have an idea.
Okay.
For our 100th episode that's coming up, if people want to send in their ideas for New Year's resolutions, we'll read them. We'll talk about them.
Okay. Cool. Well, not only send in your questions, but also send in your resolutions
and your dreams. I think.
And your dreams,
because the dream interpretation stuff, people sent in a lot of them that we didn't get to that I think are still good that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So we have so much in store for you.
2019 is going to be a bing bang boom of a year.
Bing bang boom.
Yep, I stand by it. Okay, I'm going to start.
I want to have triplets and name them that.
they'll all make a cereal together and be on the box.
Yeah. Can you imagine if your name was Bing Johnson, Bang Johnson, or Boom Johnson?
I like Boom the best. Boom would be hot. He'd be the hottest one.
Boom Johnson.
Yeah, when he was 18, boy, I would boom him. Okay. We need to get on to superheroes.
Sorry. No, somebody made the mistake of saying that they liked how ADD we are, so I'm not even trying to control it.
Ah, shit. Okay. Don't compliment Mike, everyone. Okay. I'm going to tell you about...
Goes right to my dick.
the history of LGBT characters in comic books.
Okay. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I know it's a thing. I'm playing dumb.
Oh, yes. Why, yes, it is. Sorry, I didn't catch on to... I just thought you were stupid. Okay. So more the rules that surrounded it. So in 1954...
So things were terrible.
Things weren't great. They weren't... I don't know anything about decades. Like, I suck at that. What was happening in the 50s, Mike?
The Red Scare. That was just... Senator McCarthy was rooting out communists that had taken over Hollywood by calling them in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee and grilling them about their involvement with communist plots.
Yep. And then he stamped a big red X on everyone that he deemed to be red.
Yep. And then Edward R. Murrow took him down in a series of radio and television programs.
Did he take him down to Boom Johnson? That's going to be my euphemism for sex now.
Boom Johnson.
Okay. We should really get into superheroes. Okay. So 50s, not great. Especially for gay people. And maybe everyone that wasn't white and evangelical. Okay. In 1954, they established the Comics Code of 1954, which is referred to the CCA. Because that's the Comic Code
of America.
Administration. It's the CCA. So it was a way for all the comic publishers to establish and self-regulate, because people were already worried about comic books in general, about that they might be too violent, or they were going to get shut down or not allowed to be sold. So they decided to get together, and my guess is they were just like, well, if we regulate ourselves, then we won't have to face government regulation.
Yeah. Idiot parents, when we're talking about your idiot kids, it's not the video games.
No.
It's not the TV. It's not the comic books. Your kid is a terrible person because of you.
I have nothing to add to that. So this, I'm going to tie it all back in. This code was based on an earlier draft of a code that was largely unenforced for comic books, created in 1948. And that code was modeled loosely after the 1930s Hollywood production code.
The Hays Code?
Also known as the Hays Code.
We talked about that.
We did, yeah. That's why I said to bring it back around. We talked about that in an episode on X-rated movies.
Yeah.
And it's episode and you can go check it out. So we know the Hays Code was not great for many.
I mean, the Hays Code for movies said things like you can't say that a character is gay and have it be in a positive light.
Yeah.
And it had to be coded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why it's called coded? Interesting.
The Hays Code?
Yeah.
Is that what you
mean?
No,
like we said that what's his name in the Maltese Falcon? That the character was coded gay. Like he never did anything gay on film. The character wasn't explicitly gay, but they made lots of like hidden jabs that told you that he was gay, right? Like it was his voice, it was his mannerisms, It was the fact that he was the villain, it was the like. All right, I'll shut up.
I think codes are they're like kind of secret and have to be translated.
Okay.
So there are lots of really interesting things, some of which have nothing to do with gay people. What? You seem like you want to say something.
I was trying not to burp.
Oh, okay. Well, just so you know, that looks like you're trying to hold back something you're saying. But so some of the things that the Comics Code said is that you should never create sympathy for the criminal. Officials like policemen should never be presented in a way to disrespect authority. good should always triumph over evil. Don't reference physical afflictions or deformities. Sorry, Professor X. You gotta walk or you're out. Like,
so was Professor X created after this was no longer a thing?
that's a really interesting question, Mike. You should research that later.
Okay, great.
This is what I'm going to tell you. Every question you ask, I don't know. I'm going to assign to you to research, and we'll see how much you actually do.
Okay. I mean, it didn't work in high school, and it's not going to work now.
Okay, so getting to some of the gay ones, they, of course, never explicitly said, like, don't show a gay character, or, like, limp wrists, not in this.
Okay, look at what they're wearing. Pretty much they're all gay until proven otherwise.
Oh, okay. This is same area of criticism. One of the things not gay, females shall be drawn realistically without exaggeration of any physical qualities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we see all female superheroes.
Right. Although, to be fair, the Star Trek universe, there's a lot of tits.
But were they like
you can
all
find,
sizes or?
No, yes.
Oh, okay.
All sizes. Big.
Okay. All large sizes.
Both sizes, huge and
Huger.
enormous.
Okay. So to the gay stuff, quote, sexual abnormalities are unacceptable, which I have to assume they meant gay in the 50s. They should emphasize the sanctity of marriage and quote, sexual perversion or any inference of same is strictly forbidden.
Okay, wait. So sanctity of marriage, at that time, they weren't talking about gay marriage. They were talking about...
They actually said, like, divorce should not be treated as desirable. Like, they were demonizing divorce. And single people. Man, this is the single
and
people
they totally
suck.
stopped divorce.
And divorce never happened among straight people again. Yeah, you're right. I mean, now I see that phrase and think of one man and one woman and anti-gay, but who knows if that's what they were trying to mean back then. They updated the code in 1971. New things that were allowed: vampires, ghouls, and werewolves.
Okay.
These were originally prohibited. Now they were allowed
Because they were unnatural? Because they suck?
I don't know, because they were not interesting. They were allowed because there was historical, like, literature, like Frankenstein, Dracula, Edgar Allan Poe. Like, there's a literary history of of quality. So zombies were not allowed because there was no, like, significant literary history of them. So
weird.
They just Marvel called them Zuvembies.
Zuvembies?
They had someone, like, resurrected from the dead or whatever the fuck, just like Jesused out, and then they called them Zuvembies.
Zuvembies.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Just fucking make up a word. If
we're
somebody
in this
says
fake universe where literally anything is possible.
It's like on Facebook. If we can't say the word gay, we'll just come up with another word.
Oh yeah, we're still in our weird thing with Facebook where we might not be allowed to advertise there because of gayness. But
to be fair, we're pretty gay.
That's true. But how gay is too gay for the Facebook advertising policies? I think whatever it is, we're there.
That's why I'm going to start a new website called Sit on My Facebook. It's real gay.
Is it a work of literature that's going to be called Sit on My Face?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Coming soon in 2022. So they weren't even allowed to do anything involving drugs, but Stan Lee was just like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. There was this storyline where I think it was Spider-Man, or at least in a Spider-Man universe, a character was on drugs and they said no. And even though, like, it was depicting drugs as bad and to overcome them, they did not approve it because of these rules, the CCA rules. And Stan Lee said, quote, so I didn't even get mad at them. I said, screw it, and just took the code seal off for those 3 issues. Then we went back to the code again.
Wow.
Like, there's a little seal that at that time you could only, a lot of places would only accept comics that had this seal that said they went through the review and, are cool and don't talk about divorce or whatever the fuck.
That was so crazy.
Yeah. Awesome for Stanley. And then,
God rest his soul.
yes, hashtag blessed, hashtag goodbye.
He's only been dead like 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he probably still like a little bit looks like himself.
Do you think he'll ever come back as a zombie? Wait, what is it?
Zombie?
Zombie? Zababambi? I forget what it is. Okay. By the 2000s, the new publishers, I didn't realize it was this recent that shit started like being cool, but then again, all of this is more recent every time I like start looking into it than I expect. So by the 2000s, new comic book publishers didn't even join this organization. Maybe the A stands for association. Comic Code Association? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a group. So new publishers didn't even join. So the stamp stopped being like a deal breaker to getting the comic book sold. And my guess is like around that time, when the internet started being a thing and people could just post whatever the fuck they want, I think it stopped. Like that's the start of independent people can just do their own shit and don't have to be a part of this group to get their shit read.
This is so random. I'm sorry. It's kind of a tangent, but like the internet started as this democratizing influence on our culture that anybody could say anything to anybody at any time about any subject, right? Like, and it really did make it easy for people to express things that weren't necessarily okay with the patriarchy, okay with the government. And it's interesting that now net neutrality is a thing because that directly ties to government ability to control what is said.
Yeah, it was I think that's really related because all the like the rules that when I read through it, like feels like propaganda laws that are like, we have to promote this idealist
truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah. Like mainstream American culture and values, which at that time were like just the idea of, which one was it? Of you should never show sympathy for criminals. Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, if the black population is not overwhelmingly, over indexed, more than other groups, targeted by people and unfairly punished or whatever, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of no one should feel bad for criminals, and now they can't get the real chance that they should have. Like so it seemed to really be like go into the patriarchy, into white America, into married religion, even though it didn't say it. Like, oh, there was a part of the code that was religious, and I just skipped that because I don't care. But yeah, and so I do think that now, especially with the internet, I'm guessing. So a lot of this I'm bringing my own ideas into, which I guess this is my podcast, so fuck off.
I'm interested. Keep talking.
Okay. Thanks. That's the only reason we keep talking. I think it's because we interest each other. So I guess that's good most of the time. So I think people can now bring new ideas to this arena, and that's why they had to get rid of those codes. And it's like, oh, maybe not every single criminal is terrible because it's their fault. Maybe divorce isn't their fault. Maybe gay characters can exist. Like,
I heart morally ambiguous antagonists. That's like my jam. And the fact that was explicitly not okay.
Good. Yeah. Good always triumphs over evil, and the criminal will be punished for his misdeeds. Also,
so if there were a comic book about the universe today, it couldn't be published
because evil runs rampant. Yeah. Okay. So Marvel started doing their own code. DC, I know I'm wading into territory I don't understand, but from all the things I read, it seemed like Marvel led the pack and DC just followed whatever they did.
Oh,
is that
I bet that sounds like something that we will get inadvertent hate mail about. I'm happy to get hate mail. I want hate mail so bad.
Send it to Mike. I said it, but send it to Mike. Address it to Mike, please. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. It just, all the things were, so Marvel put together their own code. DC later followed. That's all the shit was like, and then DC did it after.
Yeah, it's like a Star Wars, Star Trek level schism that you're wading into, though, right? Like Marvel versus DC, which one is better?
Wait, which one came first between Star Trek and Star Wars?
Really?
No, I know.
You can.
And the
you
next
think through this. You can do this.
Why would I?
It was.
Star Trek
was first. It was on television in the 60s.
Why? How would thinking help that? I just don't know that.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. No, I don't. I really didn't know that.
Okay, great. You didn't. You know that.
Why? How would I know that?
I don't know. Because it's a thing people know.
Not this people.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm almost
You heard it
done.
here first. Kyle's not a person.
I'm just not that people. Okay. Last line I have.
Okay, great.
And then you can talk and I can bother you.
Oh, I don't want to.
The last comic that was still using this code was Archie.
Oh.
And I think they were like, basically like, I think the guy, someone involved with it was like, we're not going to stuff bodies into fridges anyway. So like, it really doesn't matter. So just a very specific example to give. Check that guy's fridge. I'm just going to put that out there.
The day after they stopped and Archie just turns into a psychopathic
He
killer.
starts killing everyone. No, so they stopped. So that effectively stopped the use of the code just because no one was using it. And that was in January 2011. Was that
And then they
fake?
No.
Okay, you were actually interested in
And
that?
then they got a gay character, remember?
Oh, I'll tell you more about that
Ooh.
later because they actually got a gay character before that.
They're not superheroes.
Yes, there is a gay character that came before that.
Not an Archie.
Oh, Archie got a...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were alluding to a segment I'm going to do next. But
Okay.
anyway, that's it.
Okay, so Batman and Robin are gay, yeah?
I read that they invented Batgirl just to like try to be like, no, they're together. Batman and Batgirl, it's cool. I think they didn't even think of this shit. Like you're saying, like their outfits are tight and like I just don't think they knew what they were getting themselves into.
Well, okay, so your argument is they didn't know that they were being gay.
They accidentally wrote them to be gay.
Okay. So it's interesting. There's a panel. If you go to the Wikipedia article for LGBT or homosexuality in the Batman franchise, there's an article on that.
Oh, nice.
And they have this panel that is Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. Did you know that Robin's real name is Dick Grayson?
I did not.
Yeah. So Bruce Wayne...
Oh, I think Robin's gay, but I don't think with Batman.
Oh. Okay. Well,
anyway, tell me about Dick.
There's a panel with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson waking up in the same bed together, and it says the intro says morning, and it begins like any other routine morning in the lives of millionaire Bruce Wayne and his ward Dick Grayson. So this happens every day. They wake up in the same bed. That's what that said. Bruce Wayne says, that was a good sleep. Come on, Dick. A cold shower, a big breakfast. And then Dick says, and then down to the Batcave to repair the Batmobile. I'm way ahead of you. Like, at least at the beginning, in the 50s, they slept in the same bed all the time.
Isn't this back when, like, on TV shows, they couldn't even show, like, married couples sleeping in the same bed?
Correct. Correct. Okay, so...
Is there, like, some kind of historical... Like, did men just used to sometimes cuddle their friend, and that was cool? Or, like...
I don't know.
By
the time the 50s rolled around, I mean, we had TV, and...
I think the 70s was more you could cuddle with anyone you wanted because we were like, you're all on drugs. Wherever you pass out, whoever you're cuddling with, just like, that's cool.
So there's this psychiatrist, psych guy.
A guy in the field of brain medicine.
Mm-hmm. He wrote a book called Seduction of the Innocent in 1954. So the early days of Batman. He said, quote, the Batman type of story... He was arguing why Batman should not be allowed to exist as a thing.
Oh, great. Okay.
Quote, the Batman type of story may stimulate children to homosexual fantasies, of the nature of which they may be unconscious. And only someone ignorant of the fundamentals of psychiatry and of the psychopathology of sex can fail to realize a subtle atmosphere of homoeroticism which pervades the adventures of the mature Batman and his young friend, Robin. So...
I love an atmosphere of, what was it? An atmosphere of what?
Homoeroticism.
I love that. I'm going to open a bar called Atmosphere of Homoeroticism or something. Like, that line, I know he meant it to be a bad thing, but I want to exist in that atmosphere.
Yep.
And I want to puncture the ozone layer with fossil fuels and just let that homoeroticism leak out into the rest of the world.
Yep, I agree.
I get political sometimes.
I also think that we should open a bar called the Lavender Scare, which that's what they've called the period in the middle of the 1950s about like homosexuality is bad and trying to demonize it as much as possible.
Oh, okay. So maybe when they created this in the mid that code in the mid 50s, maybe they were actually referring to the sanctity of marriage and man and a woman.
Could be, except gays weren't. I mean, gays at that point were just like, can we not be considered a mental disorder? That was our number one issue. Not like, can we get married?
Okay, that's fair.
But, yeah, extra but.
Two butts.
Andy Medhurst wrote in 1991 in an essay called Batman, Deviance, and Camp that Batman is interesting to gay audience because, quote, he was one of the first fictional characters to be attacked on the grounds of his presumed homosexuality.
He's one of the first? Wow, that's so interesting that like I don't think of Batman as like a representation of gayness or like
I mean he was I mean other characters have been gay or even more explicitly gay in the history of things, but it's that this is the first character that in a censorship kind of way they tried to stop because of his presumed homosexuality or perceived homosexuality.
And he's single. Like, being a single guy in a mansion.
Yeah.
That must mean you're... If a lady doesn't marry you when you're a single rich guy, handsome, like, you must...
Yeah. And in that classic Greek model of pederasty, has a much, much younger man that is hanging out with him and looks up to him and blows him.
Looks up to him during blowjobs. I now know vaguely what pederasty means because of this podcast.
I'm glad that you've learned one thing from me, Kyle.
I've learned one thing.
Yep.
Pederasty is the study of feet.
Yep. Exactly.
Batman loved Robin's feet. Also, in the square, the comic square, right after the one where they wake up in bed, Robin is just licking Batman's feet. And he's like, Batman, I have to get you clean for the...
You have a pederasty appointment later.
You must be clean. Okay.
All right. So, do you remember Batman Forever?
Was that a movie?
Yes. That was the 95 movie with George Clooney and with Chris O'Donnell.
I don't.
You don't.
Oh, is Chris O'Donnell hot?
The hot Robin.
Oh, I just remember. I don't think I ever saw that, but I just remember Hot Robin.
So there were two movies that had them. It was 95 and 97. Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. The director was gay, Joel Schumacher, and I missed it at the time. I was late high school, early college for these movies, and I don't remember this being a thing, but apparently it was, that there were a lot of homoerotic innuendos in those movies, and many observers accused the director, because he was gay, of gaying it up.
Oh.
Specifically, James Berardinelli, who's a real winner.
He sounds like an asshole right away.
Questioned. He said, quote, there's too many random amounts of rubber nipples and camera ankle close-ups of the dynamic duo's butts and bat crotches.
Bat crotches? Okay, never mind. It's going to be called Bat Crotches. That's the bar.
Bat crotches. Well, it can be next door to Atmosphere of Homoeroticism.
Oh.
And across the street from Lavender Scare.
I love it.
So Schumacher said, quote, I had no idea that putting nipples on the bat suit and Robin suit were going to spark international headlines. The bodies of the suits come from ancient Greek statues, which display perfect bodies. They are anatomically correct. I remember the nipples. Do you remember the nipples? I remember the bodysuits having nipples and being like, I'm into it, and it's scary because I don't know why. My feelings are very confusing.
This is interesting following our episode about nipples,
Right.
where you remember this and you say that your nipples are like a boner.
Can't live
inducer.
without them.
I mean, watch out for zebras. That's what we remember. I mean,
They will bite your nipples off.
they will literally bite your nipples off if you live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels vaguely familiar, and maybe that's one of the contributing factors to me thinking Robin was hot.
So Hot Robin, played by Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell said, quote, "It wasn't so much the nipples that bothered me, it was the cod piece. The press obviously played it up and made it a big deal, especially with Joel directing.
How big of a deal?
I didn't think twice about the controversy, but going back and looking at seeing some of the pictures, it was very unusual. Apparently, they just had massive dongs. Like, I don't remember that. I remember the nipples, but apparently...
I also thought, like, I always picture them just having, like, a metallic, like, whatever there. Like, it doesn't represent your actual dick size, because it's, like...
Yeah, but if
it's not like tight, like form fitting.
Right. But like if your codpiece has room for like 3 normal sized dicks, it definitely looks like it's excessive.
My backdoor codpiece has room for 3 dicks. No,
Backdoor codpiece is next door to
to Lavender Scare.
So we've got a little group of 4 there.
Oh, I love it.
And then last thing that I'll say about Batman and Robin being gay, because they're super gay.
Do you think? Wait, do you think they were intentionally created as coded gay? You asked me that, but I didn't ask you that.
That's difficult to answer. I don't know.
Just guess.
I don't know. I think they were created by who made them?
I want you to just your feeling, your instinct. It's not based on numbers or data or anything. Just what's your instinct tell you?
No.
Okay.
But
prove it. Give me data.
They'd been around for a while. Uh-huh. Like I think that they went gay in the 50s. And Batman and Robin had been around longer than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. I think they like inadvertently were gay and then like started to play that up in the future or like capitalize on that or whatever.
Batman and Robin, Bert and Ernie.
Thelma and Louise, Big Bird and Snuffleupagus,
Huey Lewis and the News,
Alvin and all the Chipmunks. They're not brothers.
George Clooney George Clooney joked, quote, "Joel Schumacher told me we never made another Batman film because Batman was gay." And he said in 2006, he said in an interview with Barbara Walters that he was playing Batman as gay.
Oh.
Quote, "I was in a rubber suit and I had rubber nipples. I could have played Batman straight, but I made him gay." Barbara then asked, "George, is Batman gay?" To which he responded, "No, but I made him gay." But now I want to watch those movies again and see if...
And just like jerk off?
I mean, I don't know. Give me some hate mail about this. I don't think George Clooney is a particularly talented actor. So I'm just interested to see if I can see any indication that he, A, was actually trying to play Batman as gay, and B, what does that mean?
I think like it's interesting how actors can go like they can almost retcon the performance and say what they want about how they were playing it. So who knows if that, I'm not saying he was lying, but that's not enough. It's not enough to play or hint. We've gotten enough of that and we need it to be stated or so we just need it to be obvious and not in a stereotypical, like, oh, they're effeminate acting and all this stuff. Like we just need, I don't need anyone to say, oh no, I was playing him gay. Or even Ryan Reynolds, like, we know Deadpool is bi, but that doesn't matter to me because at least for the first movie, because that did not show up. So it that's not good enough anymore.
All right, I'm gonna pee.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I talk about my stuff?
Yes, talk about your stuff.
Okay, my stuff, boy, it's the good stuff. It's the right stuff. It's all the stuff. Okay, actually, before talking about actual gay characters in comics, this isn't exactly superheroes, but I've bought one comic book in my life.
Really?
I don't know if that's true. Maybe when I was a kid, I tried to impress people by caring, but there is a local to us, Seattle comic book person.
Writer?
He's a comicer. Artist, yeah.
A comicer.
A comicer.
Yeah.
Comicor. And he writes about the adventures of 4 characters in being gay in Capitol Hill, Seattle, which is where I live. So it's called The Capitol Hillbillies, and it's by Chris Lang. Chris Lang. And so I think it's like very much up our alley of humor and like sexual things. Up our alley is going to be the alley between Lavender Crusades. What was that called?
Lavender Scare.
Lavender Scare, and whichever one we put next to it. There's just going to be up our alley.
Up our alley.
It's where you go for like waiting in line and hot dogs and hot dogs. Okay. So talking about Batman and how it's kind of gay is actually a good forward into
Preface?
No, I like pretending that the things you say are just the forward in the book that I'm telling. So
Okay.
you're just the like page or two before
Great.
that I included so I could put like Mike Johnson said shit. Okay.
Yeah.
The ambiguously gay duo.
Ace and Gary.
You remember them.
Yes.
Tell me what you remember about this cartoon.
So it's Ace and Gary, and they wear blue suits and
Very tight.
very tight blue suits, and they're both jacked. But one is taller than the other. I think Ace is the taller one.
Oh wow, you're getting into specifics.
They drive a penis car, and then all of the villains like can't do their villainhood stuff very well because they're all like, "Look how fucking gay they are! They are so gay!" And then they hit each other on the ass. And
Yeah. I remember them. I remember seeing this growing up on SNL. And
that's Saturday Night Live for the uninitiated.
okay, I don't think everyone knows when Star Trek started. I think everyone knows what SNL means. Oh, but we're international, so maybe it doesn't get to other countries. I shouldn't make this assumption.
A sketch comedy show on American television.
Oh my god, this is going to take forever if we like give background on all the things. A costume is an item you know. Yeah, so it was on SNL's Saturday TV Funhouse, which mocked actual Saturday morning cartoons. And yeah, they were just like the name of this sounds like. The thing I most distinctly remember is like one would fly through the air and the other would ride him.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Just picture it and it's what you think.
They did this thing where like they would grab each other's ankles in like 69, but then they would like roll like a boulder and knock people down.
I don't remember that. It's I didn't remember this. Ace is played by Stephen Colbert or voiced by Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
Gary's voiced by Steve Carell.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's essentially making fun of Batman.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
taking those things that, I mean, it sounds like we both think they were inadvertently put in there at first, and calling them out by having this duo that doesn't realize what they're doing is gay, and everyone else is like, dude, like that's, including the villains, like that's gay. What do you think about those cartoons? Are they good or bad for LGBT people? Like, are they making fun of us, or can we laugh with that?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, Ace and Gary never confirm or deny their own sexuality.
I didn't.
So
I didn't necessarily I remember being very turned on as turned on as a child.
They were hot.
They were. I mean, I already thought like, you know, I thought Robin was hot. Like, I thought they were hot, and I didn't get why them riding on their penis car or getting on top of each other to fly through the air was. Anyway, I was very interested in this part of SNL. Anyway,
But
yes.
But I think part of the shtick was we don't actually know. It's this tendency of all of the villains are looking at them and are distracted by, do they know how gay they are being, without them actually being gay or not. And when I look at it through that lens, I think it's fantastic. I think it's hilarious. Even now that I'm out and gay and proud, I think it's still hilarious.
Are
but
you
I have
proud?
Yeah.
Like of yourself? Of yourself as a person?
A couple of times I've taken it and been real proud. Like, thank God I made it through that. I think I would like to watch them again. It would be worth watching them again to see if any of my feelings have changed or how well it's aged, because a lot of stuff does not age well.
I agree. And that was actually my initial thought of, shit, like this was actually really homophobic, that they were doing these things that were coded gay, and everyone was like, Jesus, they're gay. Like, but the more I thought about it, it was like who's the butt of the joke? Like the
bottom.
That worked on. We've never had a joke that worked on 2 or more levels. I think we're just pretty much one dimensional, but that worked on 2 levels. I love that. Okay. So imagine what's going to be hidden behind that Patreon content. Okay. The butt of the joke is not gay people. The butt of the joke is the innuendos contained in Batman and Robin. And they're making fun of that. So it's not gay people that they're making fun of. And I didn't even think about what you said is the same argument of like, they're not saying they're gay or straight. It's that people are so distracted by that or can't even get over that.
Or that they have to know.
Yeah.
Like part of the joke there is just society's intense desire to know.
Yeah.
When it's none of your goddamn business.
Yeah. And shouldn't affect things that, like, if you have an evil plan to destroy the world, what does it matter if these 2 dudes are gay?
Right.
So, yeah, I also agree that I should go back and look. I was trying to just like read through the summary of one episode just to like get a sense of, you know, what was the context, what were they doing, what were things that and I couldn't, even though I couldn't find that, I did find something that I really liked on the Big Cartoon Database, which is a website. I looked at the scan at the episodes. They have like 15 or 20, and I picked the episode A Hard One to Swallow. Woo! Because you know, it's me, Kyle. And they didn't actually have a video there, which I was looking for. But I got a lot of great gems. Like they had all these different sections, and it was like
a lot of great pearls,
very good pearls flying everywhere. A Hard One to Swallow has not received enough votes to be rated. Do you love A Hard One to Swallow? Sorry, we do not have a video of A Hard One to Swallow.
How many dicks up would you give it?
I don't know yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because I didn't get to see it. Yeah. I'd give it 3 hard ones to swallow. Yeah. But it's interesting that some of those can, maybe one of the reasons it aged okay, from what I can think of, is because it's not making fun of gay people. The butt of the joke is not, oh, they're gay, which is what current comedians are getting in trouble for, of like, if the root of your joke is just they're 2 gay people, that's not funny, and that's just demonizing us.
Yeah.
So
Stop taking our shit.
Yeah, stop taking our shit.
And that's our job.
Stop.
Gay, ha ha ha.
Stop taking our shit.
Stop taking our shit.
Oh, stealing our jokes. We're gay.
Gay.
We can be gay and funny. You have to keep being straight.
You have to try harder.
You have to try how hard? Okay. What do you got?
Oh, I did have...
Did you forget that you also do things?
I'm on this podcast too. Great. Okay. So I was going to talk about some of my favorite gay characters and romances and stuff, and I'm not going to do that now.
Okay, there'll be time, actually, during the break conversation we have.
Okay.
Because I'm going to talk more about the first LGBT character and other LGBT characters, so you'll have time to weigh in on your favorite one.
Okay, in which case, different tack then.
Okay.
What are your favorite superpowers.
Oh boy.
Like, do you watch? How avid of a fan are you? How much like superhero type content have you put in your hole?
I have
your eye holes.
Okay. I have the superpower of being able to what's the superpower of like retracting very quickly? Because like that's like legitimately okay. I've talked a lot about my tiny butthole, but people are surprised. Like if it hangs out just for like even 30 minutes, you're like, how are you not? We have to start at the beginning. Yeah. So quick retraction. Very popular. Storm had that too. Quick retraction. This podcast has that because most of this should be retracted. Okay. I very surface level. I've seen like the X-Men movies and thought they were really good. I am attracted to Gambit. I played. Oh, there was an X-Men video game growing up that was really good.
Yeah. You
could pick a different character and like. Including like Beast, and he could hang onto the wall, like the ceiling. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay.
What platform was it on? Do you remember?
It was so like video game, like where you had a cartridge and you played it.
Sega,
I don't remember.
Nintendo,
We were a Nintendo family.
Nintendo.
We didn't have any Segas.
Okay.
So like probably like Nintendo or N64 or something like that.
My question was, what's your favorite superpower?
Oh, wait, no, you asked me how involved, and to my credit.
Right.
Yeah.
I gave you enough time to answer that. You failed. Back to the original question.
I think I did okay. I think I passed. I don't think I have one. I don't know. I always think people that can float shit. I feel like that's kind
telekinesis?
of yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of the like overwhelming, like you can kind of do a whole lot of shit when you have that. Or actually like controlling someone else's mind.
Okay.
What's that one called?
Telepathy? But that's just reading somebody else's mind.
Oh.
Controlling them? Mind control. It's mind control.
Oh, yeah. I mean like
that's interesting. Okay, so I was hoping that a couple of these things would come up. I definitely have sexual feelings about some superpowers.
Oh, okay.
Like recurring masturbatory fantasies about superpowers. And
currently?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read a lot of erotic fiction, and a lot of it has like got sci-fi fantasy overtones to it. Anyway, mind control is this weird, like, it's a consent problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that is, if you mind control somebody into banging you, that's fucking rape.
Yeah.
Right?
See Jessica Jones on Netflix. Oh, I love Jessica Jones on Netflix, so that's something I'll say. But yeah, like that thing happens where he controls her and makes her be with him, and then it's like the story of an ex-lover that abused her, and
in the first season, right?
Yeah.
That's so horrible. But
it's weird that like, so the mind control thing is something you enjoy, but like it wouldn't be something in real life that like, because of the huge issues with it. There's a distinction, what I'm trying to get at, and not doing a good job of bridging the gap between sexuality and is like, there are things you can be interested in, they're fantasies that are sometimes fun to think about, but in reality might be terrible. And I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you like, I guess, do you feel weird about that?
So mind control's not at the top of my list. I just definitely have had like,
okay.
I've definitely thought about that.
Yeah.
And
what's at the top of your list?
Okay.
That toad with a really long tongue?
Like shape shifting, like being able to like become somebody else, to wear somebody else's facade.
Yeah.
is really compelling to me.
What's the fantasy then involved in, like, how does that play out? Do you want to you don't have to get into this.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
That's gayish, right?
That's gayish. You're feeling uncomfortable, so we're going to dive in.
Like, I'm sort of sexually attracted to extremes anyway, like crazy tall people, or like really short people, or like super jacked, or really waifish. Like I like all about extreme giant dicks. Like there's a thing there.
Yeah.
And so there's this common fantasy or thought about like showing up at fetish night at CC's in different extreme forms to see how people react to that. And the ones that always come to mind, like freakishly tall. Like I have this one where I show up and I'm like 7 feet tall, and I try to imagine what it would be like to like tower over everybody by that much, and like how exposing that must feel, but in a way that like the attention would be fun.
Yeah.
And but then other variations on that same kind of thing, like, oh, what if I could be a 4'11" bodybuilder? That would be kind of fun. Like, yeah.
Where do you think those come from?
Deep insecurities about not liking who I am, so I want to be someone different so that I can be wanted.
I mean, that's what I assumed, but I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Yeah.
Do you really think that's it? Like,
oh yeah, I know I'm fucked up. I'm like, I'm perfectly comfortable owning it. Also, Mr. Fantastic.
Is he the one kid Stretch?
The rubber guy. I find that really hot.
I mean, what part about it? Is it that his anus just can be a whatever you can just like fuck him like you can fuck an eraser?
Yeah. Or
Gumby.
Or yeah. Or like get a really, really good hug because he can put his arms around you like 8 times.
Okay. I was talking about having sex with Gumby, and you just made it sweet by saying he would hug you more than once. That's adorable.
Thanks.
Okay. No, it's interesting that like...
Or one where I could eat people. That's vor. That's a whole thing. But like...
Okay, you've mentioned that before, and I don't totally get it.
It's a literal consumption of a person as an expression of sexual desire for them.
And why? What about eating a person? Do you cook
I don't
them?
know.
Do you eat them in pieces? Do you eat them whole? Are you the eater or the eatie?
I want to be clear. I because I'm feeling very vulnerable right now, that this is not a common thing, and it used to be much more common. So like it's not something that I've thought
for
about
you.
for a really long time. But the couple of times that I had thought about it, it was a shape-shifty kind of a fantasy where I like would turn into a large animal and eat someone. And it was about power and dominance and destruction and consumption. And,
I mean, I was with you until consumption, power, dominance. Like I can see those, and then you get to the consumption. I'm like, well,
okay,
I can start to almost understand it when you describe it like that.
Okay. Huh. I don't really get it either. It's kind of weird. It did it for me the times that that popped up.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, everyone, try eating someone.
And
just see if it does it for you.
Invisibility. To be able to turn invisible and like follow somebody around and see what they do in their private life and watch them get naked and like watch who they fuck. Like I have a very strong voyeuristic streak anyway, and that is like the ultimate voyeur's journey. Dream
power.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that?
I guess so, yeah.
You keep looking at me in a very supportive and understanding kind of way, but that says either Mike, you're fucked up, or Mike, this is not connecting with me at all. I'm having a hard time understanding.
It's not that I don't think you're fucked up. I support you.
You're wrong.
I support all of these types of things. I guess, yeah, like that has never been I think the only times I've dreamt, like thought about in a sexual way, anything that could be close to like a mutant power kind of thing is, like being someone else. Like maybe the shape-shifting thing. And usually it's like being a woman or being someone else that's hot or, yeah.
There's this one where I go back in time to my fraternity house.
Oh.
And I turn into the chick that they want to bang.
Oh, damn, that's sexy. Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, but I guess, I mean, I think I've had, like, comics and superheroes didn't happen to me in that way. They happened to me in that I saw them and were like, they have tight clothes and I can see their bodies and that's hot. But that's kind of the end of it for me. Okay, one last thing.
Okay.
Do you think mutants are an allegory for gay people?
Yes. Great. Good segment. Next.
All right. Let's take it. No. I think, for me, I think this is something that was not intentional. And seeing that comics code they put into place says that, I do not think they were intending for mutants to represent sexual minorities. In fact, I think they were trying to actively steer away from that.
So a variation on your question.
Yeah.
Is it gay people specifically, or do they just represent marginalized people regardless of what stripe?
Well, great point. I think there are, yes, they definitely represent marginalized people. I have to throw you a bone, a metaphorical bone every now and then.
I'll turn into a rabbit and eat it.
2 rabbits? Never mind. We're not going to overanalyze this. All right. But there are some specific things that speak to LGBT people. So I'll tell you a few of them because, I feel like they do connect with LGBT people in a very specific way that they may not with other marginalized groups. And reading this list, there are even things I didn't think of. So this is from a comicsalliance.com article by Andrew Wheeler, which is from 2014. It's a 3-part series. Don't worry. Okay, so some of the things: you can be a mutant born to non-mutant parents. So your family is not necessarily in the same marginalized community as you are.
They have to come out to your family as being a mutant.
And and that can go really poorly. You kind of find it out. You have to figure it out your own.
No son of mine is going to be a mutant.
And then you get kicked out. This is, so of the things I've seen, I know superhero buffs will scoff at this. So in the first X-Men movie, it's my reference base, Rogue finds it out through kissing a boy. It's a sexual interaction that makes her figure it out, and then she leaves home. So being homeless or leaving home, finding other people at university or school, which is the author mentioned, that's where I first learned that there are other gay people. And I think in the past has been once you start going to either another city different than yours or, going to college, that's where you find other gay people.
Yeah.
There are, you start to form your own family. Storm apparently refers to the other X-Men as her brothers and sisters. So it's kind of that chosen family. And it also has specific references to voguing, which of course was African-American queer people started the voguing, and they used to belong to houses and also take on new forenames, which is the opposite of a surname.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Anyway, they take on new names. Mm-hmm. They belong to a house or a group, and they wear these new lavish outfits. A lot of that can be seen with the drag queens in voguing. And what else? Society doesn't like them.
Government tries to crack down on them.
Just
that
like
one X-Men
Magneto.
movie, I forget which one it is. There was the whole recruiting thing. There was that substance that could make a person who wasn't a mutant into a mutant.
Oh, yeah. There was the that was in the first X-Men movie where they gave that dude the whatever serum to try to turn him into a mutant, and he just turned into a blob. It didn't work. It didn't work. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
He turned into a blob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like we said before, I think... What?
They tried to make him gay and it didn't work because you can't change a person's sexual orientation.
I can't be changed. I can't be tamed. That's Miley Cyrus. One of her better songs. Anyway, I think this is another thing that accidentally happened through the creation of this, and then they kind of leaned on and played up later when they were like, oh, fuck, those people like that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think nerds are kind of marginalized anyway, gay or not.
Yeah.
And I think that they're more accepting of gay people than non-nerds. I think about my lunch table in high school was all dorks and gays, and some of us it turned out to be both.
You think people are more accepting of gay people than nerds? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
I think that nerds are already sort of marginalized on the outside and tend to be smarter. Mm-hmm. And are less likely to reject people because of their sexual orientation.
Oh.
They have a bigger tent.
Gotcha. So, there was already people creating these were nerds and writers and artists and whatever, and they already felt like they were on the outskirts of society, and so it's natural that it fed into another group that was similar to that, like LGBT people.
I sound smart when you say it.
Is that what you mean? Yes
Yes.
or no? Okay, great.
Now, do we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Break that chain with your super strength. Turned on now.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
Wait, is that how we're doing? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can be back. We're back.
We're back. Do you know your gayest and straightest?
Yeah, I do.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest, but first.
Our
website is gayishpodcast.com.
all the social media is at Gayish Podcast, including Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And you can join our group at facebook.com/group/Gayish Podcast. Although we're kind of angry at Facebook right now, so I don't know if anyway.
Our hotline is 5855-GAYISH. You can leave us a text message or voicemail. Send us a text message, leave us a voicemail. Fuck my ass. 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And as we've beat you over the head with this episode, we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/gayishpodcast.
Yeah. So
Put your money where your mouth is, bitches.
put your money where your ears are?
Put your money where my mouth is.
Take the money from your ears and put it into our mouths. No, but if people do that, you're awesome. But, you know, there are always free ways to support us, which are telling a friend or rating and reviewing. And just by listening, you have changed the course of history. Probably. 100th episode coming up.
Oh, my God. We're going to be
literally the next one.
100 episodes. Yes. Next episode, we're going to be drunk.
We're going to be drunk. It's the new year. Drunker than usual. And apparently we want your questions.
Yes.
But also your dreams and
Yes.
your goals. Your dreams and your dreams.
We also had people have sent in things that they're just like, this is for your 100th episode. Great job, guys.
Oh.
Like, that's not a question.
That's not, yeah.
But thank you.
But yeah. So if you want to just send in all the
things.
Send in stuff to our inbox.
Yep. There's time between now and when this airs for me to say whether you should include this or not.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you'll cut this, maybe you won't, or maybe I'll tell you yes or no, whatever.
Okay.
We're going to live stream our 100th episode.
Ooh.
So people can play along if they want to, but which we'll have to tell them that you can't, because
don't do it.
Nobody should do what we're going to do.
Oh, but we haven't even told them what we're going to do.
Right.
Are we going to do that, really?
I don't know.
Drinking? But we're going to live stream the 100th? I think that's a good idea.
Okay, great.
All right, well, we're live streaming, so look out in the Facebook page and group and Twitter and stuff for how to find that, because we clearly haven't figured out the details of it, given I didn't but no, I like that idea. I think, yeah. And then whichever way we choose, then people can like kind of participate and ask questions there, or make comments in real time, which I always get distracted. You'll have to do that, because I always get distracted when
Chris Bola's moderating.
Oh, we're going to have like help from assistants.
From the wine episode, Chris Bola is going to ask the questions and relay to us your messages, and fucking Dan is going to pour the beers. It's going to be great.
Oh, wow. This is a whole like shindig.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
I've just felt mediocre before.
I'm
now
so excited.
I'm so you're like Jesse in Saved by the Bell. I'm so excited and I'm so scared.
Should we do our gayest and straightest?
Let's do our gayest and straightest. I was about to say, but first, that's because, okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
My gayest thing is I have been avoiding going to my doctor.
Oh.
Which I feel this goes to the
Your brain doctor, your butt doctor, your everything else doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Wait, did I say gayest or straightest?
Gayest.
Yeah, that's not it. I wrote down 2 straight things.
Okay.
Well, I'm doing 2 straight things then.
Okay.
My straightest and my straightest.
Is the gayest thing of all.
I'm doing 2 straightest. Oh, my dream gayest. I don't know why I wrote next to gayest. There's a straight stereotype, like straight guys are just too tough to like
Ever go to the doctor.
Yeah, like I needed to see a doctor about like a specific like issue I had with my leg, and by the end I was like, I mostly feel better, so it's fine. So I just stopped. And yeah, I haven't gone back to my like regular doctor, and I've been good about my like, I've scheduled my therapy, I've scheduled my medicine doctor, the one that gives me the pills. So that's one straight thing about me. Another straight thing about me is just recently my boyfriend, Jack.
Who is your boyfriend?
You may know him as Jack, my boyfriend. He helped me buy jeans, and I feel like your boyfriend or your person like helping you shop is something that like straight dudes are like, oh, like, yeah, my girlfriend got me these, and I just like, I don't know, I put them on, that's fine. So yeah, I really like them. I'll wear them sometime.
Wow.
Yeah.
You already own jeans.
Oh no, I threw a pair of jeans that I had to throw away. My only like pair of blue jeans I had to throw away because you and I have the same problem of the crotch always gets torn out. I mean, mine is probably like my thighs, just there's friction in my crotch that one can't deny.
Yep.
And it just, and I actually wore them long after I should have. And by the time I was like, you might be able to start seeing this hole from the back,
Yeah. I definitely wear them with holes in my crotch, hoping that just nobody is looking up in my taint.
Well, like, that happens all the time. Like, if I threw away any pair of jeans when they started to get a hole in the crotch, at some point you got to embrace the hole.
Yeah.
What about you?
So the straightest thing about me this week, I saw a meme go by my Facebook, I think it was Facebook thread, doesn't matter. Feed? Facebook wall?
Feed. No, Wall. Oh, Mike.
That's MySpace.
No, Wall was back in the day. You had a wall.
Okay, great. Anyway, there was this meme that went by it, and it was like a whole bunch of people, and it said "fuck, marry, kill," and all of them. And I was like, I don't know any of these people. I have no opinions. I'm not participating. They're all the people from RuPaul's Drag Race this season, just not in drag with their names under, and like, just. I had zero clue whatsoever.
I would be the same. I don't watch.
Although, when I was in San Francisco, I went to this bar and I was like, why the fuck is it so goddamn crowded here? So then I kept going. The next bar, fucking crowded as fuck. The next bar, also very crowded, but there's a seat at the bar. So I went in there and I sat at the bar. RuPaul's Drag Race was on. They were all watching it. As soon as it was over, ghost town. Everybody left. I went back to the bar that I started at. Ghost town. Nobody was there. So, like, RuPaul, apparently in San Francisco anyway, can almost fill 3 bars of queers. And then,
but just for like an hour.
Until it's over.
And then we all are like, all right.
And the gayest thing about me this week was last night, Derek, our friend Derek the Mormon, came over. And he wanted to borrow my shiny pants and my heels for a go-go routine that he's doing. And it was just I think, lending clothes to each other, especially when they're sparkly.
Yeah. Like, hey, I saw those shiny pants you had. Can I borrow those?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Those are good pants. I like those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My ass is gigantic in them. That's it. This has been Gayish. A special thank you, as always, to Charlie Finn for the use of our theme music. And thank you to all of the superheroes that listen to our podcast. No, that's too dumb. I'm not. And thank you to Gambit for being the object of my sexual fantasies from 1994 to present. Thank you to George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell for your rubber nipples. For your nipples. On your suits. Okay. Okay. Great. And thank you to our Patreon people. Oh, right. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, we appreciate you. Subscribing? Paying us. Thank you for paying us. Thank you for your patronage. The pay money button. Great. This has been Gayish. I'm Mike Johnson. I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week. See you next week. Happy New Year. Oh, and it's New Year, and happy almost 2019. Fly into the sky like a pie, you guy. If only for bye. Hey. Goodbye. And by the way, do you hear what your words bring? Oh.